to talk about this book, Because You Are a Starseed, and talk about if you ever resonated with what a starseed is. And the first chapter actually talks about what a starseed is. So a starseed is basically a person who just does not fit in with everybody else. You don't fit into the norm, basically. This is the first chapter. What is a starseed? And if you've ever looked into like indigo child, moon child, this chapter basically talks about who you are as a person, what kind of person you are. And it talks about how like you believe in reincarnation, you believe in spirituality, you believe in like spiritual awakenings, you just believe in all things spiritual, whether that's tarot, crystals, witchcraft. That's what the first chapter explains, and that's exactly what a starseed is. And going along with what a moon child is, what an indigo child is, what an empath is, basically all of those things, an old soul, basically all of those things mean the same thing, just they all have their own word and name, and they all do mean a little something different, but they're all in the same category. Go into the second part of the book, the empath and the spiritual awakening. And the first chapter basically was like, if you associate with the word empath, like you're basically a starseed. Like you associate with this, that's basically what you are, that's basically who you are. And this book is basically just a book that tells you who you are as a person, how you go about your everyday life, and how you just don't fit in with the norm. The first chapter talks about working that 9 to 5 and not feeling like you fit in. That's exactly what the Starseed book is. Like, reading books that you relate to is just another way of saying, like, hey, this person that wrote this book knows how you feel. So you have found, something that you have found a book that explains who you are as a person. So don't give up, and this is a really good book so far. I'm going to talk a little bit more about each chapter as I go on, just to give you like a little bit more insight of what being that starseed means, and just an overall second chapter, the empath and the spiritual awakening. Like, this book so far is really good. It's also a small book, so it's a really short read. So it basically talks about how being an empath, you are so exhausted, way more exhausted than like the normal person. This book really does explain the type of person who is 100% different than anybody else. Like, you're the type of person that is very introverted, maybe wants to like escape your everyday life, maybe wants to like read books, gain knowledge. That's what it talked about in the first chapter, a little bit about like the gaining knowledge and stuff. How you're the type of person that, you can be easily overwhelmed when it comes to people, and you also know how to make people feel comfortable in a way. The ordinary world, like, you have this, like, life is normal, but the beginning of your spiritual awakening, everything's just how it is. And then your life just kind of starts, random things just start to change, whether it's responsibilities or like doing different things. You're always probably called to like grow in certain ways, or you have like certain thing in your life that you're like so very passionate about. And for me, that's witchcraft. I love everything that has to do with tarot, crystals, reading about the things I'm into. I like practicing potions and spells because it's fun for me. And being an adult, being an adult's already boring, so I just want to make it more fun. It talks about being a starseed. You very much are not called to certain people. You may have certain people in your life at one point, and then your life does a whole 360, and you no longer want to be around your family, your friends. You no longer want to be around people, places, or things that just drive you up the wall in a sense. You just don't want to live your life like everybody else. You would much rather just be who you are, basically. It also talks about how you may like lose people along the way as well, and that's just a part of the journey itself. You go through a lot of dramatic changes. You're very like conscious in your ascension. You know what's going on. You very much can like pay attention to things in a way that other people can't. You definitely have unexpected tests, trials, and obstacles thrown in your life. I 100% do all the time. And sometimes it's physical issues, whether it's a family member's health or something is going on in that sense, or your senses are just heightened in a way that a lot of people can never relate to. And sometimes you find like life feels meaningless in certain ways. You find more meaningful in what you really desire to do with your life, and that's 100% okay, is to be yourself. This book basically explains how like, you know, just being yourself is like who you really need to be, and how, you know, you're literally forced to go on this healing journey. You're forced to like heal parts of you that you have been broken from, whether that's healing from childhood trauma and like realizing that, oh, I've been different my whole entire life and I want to be different. And you just have to, you choose to go down this path where you want to be different than everybody else. So then you're literally forced to cut away from people. You're forced to change your life and everything altogether. And like, a lot of people wouldn't understand that because you chose to go down this path, and that's 100% okay. We all choose to go down paths that we want to go down. Sometimes you are so drawn to like learning more and more about the things you're into. For example, I am into tarot, and I haven't gotten to Oracle yet, but that is definitely a plan I see for myself in the future. I read books, and then I get so interested in different topics of things that I really find interesting, and I find ways to, you know, end up reading those books and learning new knowledge from those. I always am up for like a challenge, but I don't mean like I want to be challenged every day with like your everyday stressful things. I want to be challenged in ways that can help me grow as a person, can help me heal as a person. And when I say heal, I mean like you want to unlearn things from your past. You want to gain knowledge, so you have this knowledge and stuff. So if somebody were to look at you and say like something, you would kind of have more knowledge than them about that specific topic. And or if somebody doesn't know something about that specific topic, you would have way more knowledge than they would. So you probably are like a quiet, shy person too, and just tend to keep to yourself because people have probably wanted to shut you down and not let you speak up for yourself. That's exactly what this book talks about, and so many different levels. And that's how far I've gotten so far. This next chapter is literally 2 pages, and then the next chapter after that is probably a few pages. Like, some of these chapters are pretty short, some of them are pretty long. It just depends on like how you are as a reader when it comes to reading this book, but this is definitely a very easy book. It's the beginning of what I have been reading. I'm gonna read more into it as the week goes on this week and learn more about like a starseed. This is just one of those books that goes, you know, super in depth about different topics that have to do with being a starseed and how you can relate to all these different topics. Like you are a star, the moon, how you maybe connect to the moon or connect to the stars, meditation. It also talks about the mystery of sound, as in like sound bowl healing or sounds that you can listen to on YouTube, how to like connect with those. The new age, about how life is now on Earth and just how everything has like updated technology wise. 5D, what it is, how connecting to the 5D is so different. Energy, how energy works and what energy, you know, you can use in a sense. As above, so below, that saying. What is that ringing like in your ear spiritually versus religion, the butterfly effect, and so that's basically what the rest of the book is going to cover. There was some chapters in there that the words were a little bit weird, so I didn't really say them, but that's basically this. If I decide to continue doing this as like a little book series on being a starseed, I will continue to upload more videos on this book and future videos. So I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed.